See, I'm trying to branch out into long-form content by making this, but realistically, YouTube is not long-form content. YouTube videos shouldn't be seen as long. A film is also not long-form content. You can sit there for an hour and a half and watch something. It's entertainment. Doing a PhD is long-form content. Doing in-depth research for years and years is long-form content. I feel like there's almost no point in me making this, because no one is going to sit there for however many minutes and watch this. But tough titties, I'm making it anyways. I'm not saying I'm God and you need to be listening to everything I'm saying, but you should probably be able to watch a like 15-minute YouTube video. Anyways, here we go. This is my little jingle. Chapter 1. Plop. I used to have a stuffed little hedgehog toy when I was a kid called Plop, and one day we went to the beach at one of those gloriously shitty beach trips in the UK, and I lost him. I fucking missed him so much. As a kid, you get really attached to these things. You love them. This big, he was the size of my palm. He stank of that smell that your pillow smells after a really sweaty night in summer, and I adored him. The worst thing is I'm not sure exactly where I lost him. I don't even remember that. But at least he disappeared properly. He went missing and I never had him again. Now I feel like I'm losing things that I don't even know, or that I don't get to know things well enough to remember them properly before they go. Chapter 2. Mildred. If you're in my book club, you will know that we are reading Fahrenheit 451 at the moment. It's an exceptional book. Anyways, this book is about a fireman who's married to his wife called Mildred, and his job is to burn all the books if someone is caught having books in their house. It's a dystopian book, and the firemen don't prevent fires anymore, they cause them, because now all books are banned. What is keeping me in a chokehold with this book isn't the whole burning books and censorship thing. No, it's the sedation. It's the feeling that there are easier ways to destroy a mind than by force. You just need to keep it pleasantly occupied, overstimulated and comfortable. You can make a person so surrounded by noise and speed that depths feel like an inconvenience. He and his wife are lying in bed one evening after work, and he turns to her and asks her how they met, and he can't remember. They've been married for 10 years. He can't remember meeting her. And the worst thing is that she turns to him and goes, "Oh, I can't remember, to be honest. It doesn't matter, does it? Good night." And he says, "Yeah, you're right. Good night." And they roll over and sleep and move on, and I want to die, because that is my greatest fear, that nothing would matter anymore, that nothing would have any depth. See, Mildred scares me shitless because she's an absent human being. She is void of the stuff that matters and the stuff worth being alive for. She has her routine, her TVs, her entertainment, and almost no interior life left. The author's point is that the government has nothing to do with banning books. It just swooped in at the end to finish the job, because the people had become the kind of people who no longer really wanted to read them. The society paved the way for the government to erase intelligence, and look at us. We are becoming Mildred. See, Bradbury, the author of the book, says that it didn't simply come from government decree, but from technology, mass exploitation, and from the pressure to keep everyone comfortable, untroubled, entertained, and unoffended. See, there is a version of censorship that doesn't need uniforms or ideology. It just needs an audience that is tired and overstimulated, lonely, and deeply attached to not being bothered by too much. That's what I mean when I say we're becoming Mildred. We are building lives in which the inner life becomes optional. Reflection becomes optional. Remembering becomes optional. I mean, even feeling something all the way through now feels slightly inefficient. I'm fucking petrified that we're gonna stop thinking deeply and just start hollering headlines at each other until the book or the article that the headline is supposed to represent becomes irrelevant. As an aside, Ray Bradbury wrote the first draft of this book in 9 days. He went to the UCLA library and spent $9.80 on a pay-to-type typewriter and wrote out the first 25,000 word draft. So I guess, fuck AI. If he can write this life-changing book in 9 days in a basement on a uni typewriter, we don't need regurgitated shit from a machine to think up great ideas. Chapter 3. Outsourcing the self. I don't know what this style of essay is, but I thought that chucking in a couple of facts in there couldn't do any harm. So, one of the most famous studies on what people now call the Google effect found that when people expected information to be saved and be accessible later, they were less likely to remember the information itself and more likely to remember where to find it. We don't know it, but we know where to find it. Psychologists call this cognitive offloading, using external tools to reduce the burden of the mind. And obviously, some of this is really useful. I'm not suggesting we all go back to living like our grandparents. grandparents, memorising phone numbers and storing paper maps in the car's glove compartment. But there is a difference between extending the mind and slowly replacing bits of it. And tell you what, I used to laugh a lot at my nan for using a phone book and for knowing everyone's birthdays and phone numbers off by heart, but look at me now. I don't know half as much as my nan ever did, so I'm not laughing so much now, eh? We don't really know where anything is because we obediently follow the blue line. Follow the fucking blue line road forever and ever. That is my life now. We don't remember what restaurant someone recommended because we know that when we want to find it, it's somewhere in the chat. We don't even always remember what we ourselves thought. I mean, think about that. We don't remember what we thought of something because it's in our notes app or in a draft or in a voice note. I pose to you this question: where has everything that we've forgotten gone? Some of it is gone properly, you know, the old-fashioned way. We misplaced some tangible thing, forgot our book on the tube, and now it's in the ether, never to return. But a lot of it hasn't gone anywhere. That's what scares me. A lot of what I've forgotten has simply migrated out of me. They did a study. I don't know who they are. No one knows who they are. I think that's one of the first things we collectively forgot. This study found that the more we used a GPS in our lives, the worse our spatial memory was during self-guided navigation, which is not surprising at all. What is fucking mental here, though, is that they've had to coin the term self-guided navigation for just walking somewhere without following the blue line. Let me just go back to Fahrenheit 451 for a quick second. In the book, he said, the mind drinks less and less. We're just taking endless sips of bullshit and keeping ourselves just full enough without needing to eat a proper meal ever. Endless little gulps of content and content that never amount to anything real. Chapter 4. Stories. Nothing makes sense to me unless it's put as a fictional story, so open wide. Number 1. Letha. You are aware, I'm sure, that you exist in the world, that you live on Earth. You are also aware, I'm sure, that there was once a biblical flood in which a pair of every animal hopped onto Noah's Ark to repopulate the Earth and start again. What I reckon you don't know is that we have more recently been the subjects of an even worse flood. See, there is a river in the underworld, in hell, called Letha. If the dead drink its waters, they forget their past lives. I fear we never noticed, for this was an incredibly surreptitious flood, but Letha overflowed and infiltrated itself in all our waters, polluting our taps with forgetfulness, and now, as we drink these endless sips of bullshit, we are filled more with nothingness. The mind drinks less and less. Hansel and Gretel, you know it, I'm sure. A little girl and a little boy, abandoned and lost in a forest, leave behind little breadcrumbs on the path so as to remember where they came from and be able to trace their way back home. Alas, the breadcrumbs get devoured by the birds. See, if you're afraid of getting lost, you make a trail. So far, so good. You externalise the remembering. But the system they built to get themselves home failed. The evidence was consumed. Do you see where I'm getting at? The world now is full of breadcrumb-eating birds. We are all Hansel, scattering digital breadcrumbs everywhere, pinning ideas, saving itineraries, saving posts, notes and fragments of thoughts, calendar reminders, pinned locations, screenshots of everything, an address, a sentence, a joke, an email, a recipe, a person's birthday, a receipt, a screenshot of a chat, because even our conversations no longer feel secure enough to trust to memory. We leave ourselves a trail through our own lives because we no longer believe that we can hold the route in our heads. We no longer believe that we can make it home to ourselves on our own. See, fairy tales know that people are easiest to control when they are desperate, lonely, hungry, and tempted by comfort. Hansel and Gretel are not seduced because they're stupid little children. They are seduced because they are hungry people. We do not disappear into our phones because we are morally weak little goblins with no discipline. We do it because we're tired, lonely, frightened, overstimulated and underheld. We are hungry in every way. Hungry for relief, hungry for company, hungry for distraction, hungry for a sense of purpose, hungry not to feel the full scale of being alive for 5 consecutive minutes. The lost children leave a trail because they want to get home, but the world eats their trail. Then they're offered a glittering substitute for home, and that nearly kills them. That feels to me like one of the clearest metaphors for modern forgetting that I can think of. We keep saving things for later, but we never get to later. Chapter 5. The death of detail. We are all devastatingly lonely. We have a handful of friends, maybe a partner, a bit of family, but it all seems so small when pitted against the ginormous void of nothing that we bathe in constantly. We have no village. I just scroll, really, and sometimes I go out to see my friends. Sometimes I watch a film with my boyfriend, but we all just sort of float. We're all just sort of waiting, and we don't really know what for, but the feeling of waiting is so overwhelming that we almost don't want to miss the thing that we don't know we're waiting for. So we do a lot of nothing and a lot of scrolling, just in case the thing that we are not sure is coming comes. But if it does come, how will we even know that this is what we've been waiting for? People aged 15 to 29 spent about 45% more time alone in 2023 than they did in 2010. We're getting to a point where the article becomes the headline becomes the reel becomes the next reel, the next reel, the next reel, and then I say things to my boyfriend like, oh yeah, I saw this thing on Instagram earlier, and what? And I'm embarrassed. I'm embarrassed that I didn't read it in a book. I'm embarrassed that I didn't hear it from someone's mouth. I'm embarrassed that I didn't think of it myself. We are living in the summary of the summary of the summary of the summary of the summary, and we're all very focused on the fact that we're all feeling very distracted. But it's not just distracted. It's that we are becoming shallower containers. We are retaining less stuff, less information, less detail. We know a bit about everything and very little in a way that could fill a meaningful conversation or the pages of a book. Chapter 6. London smells of piss and sometimes tulips. You've probably heard this, but they say that scent is the sense most tied to memory, that the smell of something is one of the last things we forget. But what use is that when we hardly go anywhere and nothing smells like it did when we were children? See, when I go out in London, I'm guaranteed to smell 3 things. Piss in a street corner, someone with the worst body odour in the world, and then a third surprise smell. Sometimes, in spring, I can smell tulips. Sometimes it's raining. Sometimes it's weed. But mostly it feels as though everything smells less now than it did when I was little. Reviews of olfactory memory, that means smell, suggests that odours can be particularly powerful triggers of autobiographical memory and emotion, in part because the olfactory system, that still means smell, is unusually intertwined with the emotional memory networks in the brain, which makes it all the more maddening that so much of modern life feels sterile, climate-controlled, deodorised, or just generally flattened into the smell of transport and artificial food wafting from a McDonald's. And yet, if I really focus, I can still summon the smell of my grandparents' house. I would like to note that they are alive and well, though they are very old now. I know what they smell like. I know the air in their house. Sometimes my grandma sews me a bag, and when I bring it back to London, it smells like her for a while. Then gradually it fades and it starts smelling like me, because to me it then smells like nothing. That is memory in its most offensive form. First it is strong, then faint, then possible only if you really focus, and then bang, gone forever. What makes that worse is that cities like London encourage a kind of sensory carelessness. You rush, you commute, you scroll while walking, you order things before you even have time to want them. Leisure, work, shopping, dating, entertainment, all of it now takes place through the same glowing pane of glass. And then life starts to come at you in one uniform texture. That is part of why I think that so much feels harder to remember. It's not because nothing worth remembering is happening, but because fewer things mark themselves onto us distinctly enough to stay. Chapter 7. So what will stay? I've already forgotten so many of the conversations I had with my grandmother when I was a child. Little stories, warnings, expressions that now I would kill to hear again. But see, you can't ask someone to tell you something they told you as a kid if you don't even remember what it was about. And I know exactly how this is gonna go. When she dies, which I hate even talking about, I will cling to videos and photos and voice notes of her. I'm gonna replay them greedily on an endless loop, sobbing. I'm gonna try to trap my nan inside my memory through my phone. But that only works so long. One day, I'm sure I'm gonna forget the exact sound of her voice. And then one day, probably a few months after that, I'm gonna forget what she smelt like. I won't know what my grandmother smelt like anymore. Still, I don't think that means everything is lost, because we keep people in the shape they leave behind in us. We remember being cared for by them. We remember being known. We remember being loved by them. Someone who simply loved us because we were theirs and they were ours. So yes, I will probably forget the conversations I had with my nan, and I will definitely forget the way she smelt eventually. But I don't think I will forget the feeling of being loved by her. Maybe that's the answer to this video. At least that's the only one I've got. Some of what we have lost has gone into time and is truly and properly gone, and some of it, maybe the most important part, has gone into us. It's not very detailed, it's not a neat little file that I can pull up on command, but it's a texture, a sentiment. It's the way I still miss a stuffed soft toy hedgehog that I lost years ago. It's the way that a bag sewn by my grandmother can take me right back into her house in France. There is hope, because there is love. And love leaves an indelible mark behind. See, I may not remember the specifics of my grandmother in 20 years, but I will always know that I loved her and that she loved me. And that is the point of remembering. Anyways, toodaloo.